I never dreamed that my husband's funeral would mark the beginning of my rebirth, but life has a way of rewriting our stories when we least expect it. Thomas passed away in a freak skiing accident during a corporate retreat in the Rockies. He was 65, fit as ever, or so I thought, until a hidden heart condition caught up with him on the slopes. The doctors assured me it was instantaneous, no suffering. Deep down I questioned if fate had been too kind, considering the secrets he took to the grave. We'd shared 42 years of marriage, a union I viewed as enduring if not fiery. I sacrificed my promising career as a marketing executive to build our home and raise our daughter Emily. Thomas always insisted, "I'll provide for you. Focus on the family." I trusted those words, like gospel. The memorial service unfolded in the grand hall of our community's historic church, sunlight streaming through stained glass windows, casting colorful patterns on the polished oak floors. I stood at the entrance in a classic black sheath dress, greeting mourners with a composed smile, my hands clasped tightly to hide the tremor. Thomas prized decorum above all. Even in death I honored that. Emily, our only child at 35, a successful graphic designer in the city, took the podium. Her voice, usually confident from client pitches, wavered as she spoke of her father's wisdom and unwavering support. Then she hesitated, her eyes glistening. "And a special thanks to the woman who stood by Dad through his darkest days, Victoria Hale. She was more than a colleague, she was family to him." The room hushed, a collective intake of breath. Murmurs rippled like waves. Who? His assistant? Eyes darted to the front pew where an elegant woman in a sleek gray pantsuit sat, her posture impeccable, a single tear tracing her cheek. Victoria, Thomas's longtime executive secretary, whom he'd elevated to vice president of operations at his logistics firm. I'd encountered her at holiday parties, charming, efficient, always with a warm smile for me. But now, Emily's words elevated her to something intimate, sacred. I sat a row back, feeling the weight of invisibility press down. My pearl necklace suddenly felt like a noose. The service blurred after that. I nodded through hymns and eulogies, my mind replaying Emily's words, like a broken record. At the post-service gathering in our spacious backyard under a tent, adorned with white lilies, Thomas's favorite, I circulated with a tray of finger sandwiches, playing the gracious widow. Overheard whispers cut deeper. "She looks so composed up there, like she's part of the inner circle." Emily pulled Victoria aside, their heads close in conversation. "You've been our anchor," Emily murmured, embracing her. The betrayal ignited a fire in my chest, but I swallowed it, maintaining the facade, until the last guest departed. That evening in our silent colonial home, I shrugged off my dress and wandered into Thomas's study. The scent of his cologne lingered on the leather armchair. I opened drawers methodically, seeking what? Answers. In a locked file cabinet, key hidden under a false bottom, I found a stack of letters and photos. One envelope, postmarked from a weekend conference 5 years ago, contained a card from Victoria, "To the love who makes every day brighter." Photos tumbled out. Thomas and Victoria, at our family's lakeside cottage, in Vermont, arms entwined, laughing under autumn leaves. Another showed Emily, then in her late 20s, joining them for a barbecue, her smile tentative but present. A handwritten note on the back, "Building our forever family." My knees buckled. I sank to the floor, the room spinning. The following week, The attorney's office felt like a sterile tomb. Mr. Harlan, a portly man in his 60s with a droning voice, read from Thomas's will revised secretly for years prior. The primary residence in Willow Creek, the Vermont property investment portfolios and liquid assets are bequeathed to Ms. Victoria Hale. My breath caught. Emily, seated beside me, showed no surprise, her expression neutral, almost resigned. I received a modest pension allowance, barely enough for basics. He noted your differing priorities, Harlan added awkwardly. Outside I confronted Emily. In the parking lot, rain pattering on my umbrella. You knew, I accused, a voice breaking. She sighed, avoiding my gaze. Dad confided in me last year. He said Victoria understood his world, the business stress, the ambitions. You were always so domestic. The words sliced like shards. Emily had been aware of the affair for months, perhaps longer. He was happier with her, Mom. Why drag it out? I drove home through the downpour, tears blurring the road. How had I been so blind? The extended overtime hours, the solo trips, to clear his head. The emotional distance that grew like weeds in our garden. I'd attributed it to midlife malaise, never suspecting a parallel life. Desperate for clarity, I visited our neighbor, Mrs. Eleanor, an 80-year-old retiree, with a keen eye and sharper tongue. Over chamomile tea in her floral living room, I mentioned Victoria. Her eyebrows shot up. That woman? Thomas brought her here often, when you visited your sister in Florida. I thought she was a relative at first. They'd host barbecues, even decorated the porch for holidays together. My cup clattered in its saucer. One Christmas, when I was nursing a sprained ankle, Thomas claimed a handyman helped with the lights. Lies upon lies. It started maybe 12 years ago, Eleanor mused. Right after that big merger at his firm. 12 years. The timeline crushed me. I'd managed our finances meticulously, dipping into my inheritance to bail out his company during a downturn, scheduling his doctor visits, even ghostwriting his speeches for industry events. And all the while, he was funneling our life into her hands. In the basement that night, amid dusty boxes, I unearthed more old bank statements, hinting at unexplained transfers, photos of Thomas, Victoria, and Emily at a symphony, events he dismissed as boring for me. Sleep evaded me. I pored over Victoria's social media. Her profile, a curated perfection. Strategic leader, art enthusiast, cherishing meaningful connections. Albums revealed intimate snapshots. Thomas beaming at her homemade dinners, them strolling our Vermont paths. Emily tagged in a few with captions like, family traditions. A video from 3 years back. Thomas raising a glass at her birthday. Emily cheering in the background. To the woman who completes us, he toasted. My heart fractured anew. If you loved this story, like or subscribe to my channel for more gripping tales brought to life. Don't miss the next journey.